I'm like, I know, I pressed the button. What are you going to do about it? You can't stop me from pressing the button.
Can't stop me. They're so cute.
Like, don't tell me how to live my life. So, yeah.
I love your setup. I have the YouTube video.
Oh, hold on. No. Here's going to be a thing. I need to mute. Ha! There, muted. Go on.
Oh no, I love how you have your sign behind you where it says, you know, follow and then your new videos. I love that.
Thank you. I actually got this at Target for, I think it was like $14.99 or so.
It's beautiful and you're so clever and creative. I love it.
I love it because I was like, you know, I just want people like whenever they first come on to be like, oh, this is Protagonist. She likes the cozy mysteries, and every Monday and Wednesday you will have a video. And I'm like, yeah.
It makes it so easy to have your contact information. I mean, I always put it in the description box, but I love how you have it like right there for people and just take it.
Well, I'm afraid that like a whole bunch of people don't read my description box. Like I put a lot into it, but I'm afraid that they don't read it. And so I'm like, but hey, don't forget, here's the thing. So look, we've got so many people.
Oh my goodness, it says 16 people are watching us.
Okay, so we've got Maharet. I think I'm saying that right. Maharet, and then Lou and Nicole, Lady Gizmo. Hello, Natalie and Miriam and Janine and Steph. Hi, how are you? How's everybody doing? Yes. See, the description box, like I put so much time and effort. Like I put a link for almost all of the books that I'm talking about so that it's easy to just be like, oh, she talked about this book. Let me go into the link and everything. Like, but I don't feel like many people read them. And I'm pretty funny in them, I think.
I mean, I like the last one for your vlog where you had this just kind of open me at the top. I thought that was cute.
Yeah, I was like, open me, please. Like, I'm a person. I've got stuff down here. You'll like it, I promise.
I mean, I think the biggest thing is like if you create a tag or something or you're doing an original, you need to put the information, you have to put the questions, you have to do some sort of information block. I mean, if you're talking about a book, include the link to Amazon or Goodreads for that book. Make sure you write that title down. So, I mean, I think the description box is really important for those types of things.
I think it's really important, especially if you're doing tags, because I get frustrated when I'm like, oh, that's a super awesome tag. And then I go into the description box to copy and paste their questions. And I'm like, well, where are the questions? I'm not going to rewatch the video so that I can write down the questions. I'm not, you know, that on point.
You're like, I'm invested in this tag, but only to a point.
Exactly. So I think that we've waited a little bit long enough for everyone to start coming aboard and everything. Oh, we've got 19 people watching now. Hello, 19 people. Oh my goodness. Janine says that Riley, her kitten, is in love with me. He always comes running when I play your videos, totally mesmerized. That makes my heart like explode. Oh my goodness. Hello, Kitty Riley. Hello, Kitty. Ah.
That's so cute. I love that. And people are just, yeah, Nicole is just like, I feel like on the description box. So true in this
book. So, let's see. Before we start, do we want to ask them to rate with stars below what they gave this book?
I would love to know what people thought of this book. I mean, I was at RWA and I was really busy, so I just read this book. I just read it, so I mean, it's kind of, you know, fresh in my mind. So I'd love to know what everyone else thought of Her Royal Spyness, whether it's your favorite character or you know, your favorite scene or dialogue or your, you know, just star rating. I'm very, very curious because this is our first historical cozy. Everything else has been a contemporary, so this is definitely new for us.
It is very new for us, a historical cozy. I just put my stars in the comments. So, you know, just to get it all started and rolling, that is what I thought of the book.
I mean, I think I gave it another an additional star. So you gave it 2. I'm giving it 3. I might give it like a maybe generous 3.5. I don't know. I think I'm very kind when it comes to ratings. I don't, I tend to give at least 3 stars. I mean, I didn't mind. I liked the historical elements. I thought that was a nice. I think that was a nice way to break up the cozy mysteries that we've been reading for.
I'm of course like my whole entire degrees, like 2 out of 3 of my degrees are in history. So I absolutely love the historical aspects, though some of the historical aspects were incorrect. So that kind of bugged me. And I don't know. It's hard for me to go from reading like contemporary cozies where the woman is, badass and she's like her whole entire like she's rocking her own world and she doesn't depend on anyone else. That's sort of how like most, contemporary modern mysteries go. I mean, would you agree that that's sort of how they mostly go?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think, again, you guys know I love my romances. I love my cozies. I think if it's by women, for women, about women, I'm reading it. I mean, that's kind of my just general reading, style and just my preference. And so I think especially for the current cozies, they're by women, for women, about women. And so when you start having her, concerned about her husbands, I had that moment of, oh, we're going back to Jane Austen era. And we got, that type of mentality of, oh, we have the old school, we have to find our husbands. So, but the thing is, though, it was the 1930s. So you're trying to have a little bit of modernism and you're trying to have historical and you're trying to have the balance of, oh, we have some modern ideals in this mix, but we also have we have to incorporate some of the, older ideals as well. So you have that really fine line that you're trying to balance.
I don't think that she balanced it well. Like, me personally, I was, what book are we talking about? Peggy asked. We're talking about, I actually don't physically own this book. I read it on my Kindle. We're talking about, it's called Her Royal Spyness. And it's the first in this, this series. And it's all about this girl, named Georgina, or it was Georgina, wasn't it?
I think they call her Georgie for short.
Yeah, they call her Georgie for short. And she is like the 35th from the throne in London. And she is sort of making her way into the world as herself. She is Lady Georgie, and her brother is the Duke in Scotland, but she's also related to the royal family and everything like that. And she has decided that since her brother has no longer given her a allowance every month and that they're just trying to marry her off, that she's going to go and live in London at their house in London and sort of get on her own feet and make her way into sort of like her own life. However, as being a royal, it's frowned upon for her to have her own job, for her to take care of herself, even for her to dress herself without a handmaiden, like all of this different kinds of things. And it's supposed to be a cozy mystery. And
I always say supposed to be.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a cozy mystery. But like to me, in the algorithm of cozies, the murder needs to happen within the first 10% of the book, maybe first 15% of the book. The murder did not happen until I was 50% into the book. It just seemed like the timeline.
Took a snapshot, so we don't get the murder until chapter 12, and so for me it occurred at the 43% mark. So I don't know how well y'all can see the picture, but it basically, yeah, the murder was, for murder mystery, the murder mystery did not occur right away.
And that, like, I kept like reading it and waiting and waiting. Like even Erin at one point, because I read almost the whole book while we were walking around the reservoir here in Broken Arrow. And like, we're like walking like 2.5 miles and I'm sitting here and I'm flipping while I'm walking. And he's like, has the murder happened yet? Has it happened yet? Has it happened yet? Because like he could hear me like getting more and more frustrated the more I got into the story. Now, if they had said that this was like a historical chick lit book with a hint of mystery, I probably would have rated this a different star rating.
I mean, that was again why I think I knocked off a star as well. Which I mean, again, I thought for I think my message to you, you know, DMing on Instagram was I think this book is not categorized correctly. So when you go on Goodreads, it's marked down as a cozy mystery, but the fact that the mystery does not occur until, you know, a significant portion into the narrative, it's a subplot. It's not the main narrative. I mean, and that's the point of the cozy mystery is trying to do the whodunit. I mean, you're trying to solve the mystery. That's the motivating factor. That's what's driving the narrative and the story and the characters. And since that was not the main focus, you know, that's problematic for a cozy mystery. And so, I mean, I was reading some of the comments on Goodreads trying to get a feel for how other people kind of viewed this, and people were referring to Bridget Jones for some reason. People kept, they were referencing, you know, chick lit and women's fiction. They were not referencing other cozy mysteries. So I think the mentality of the reader and how they're coming to this, I think was a big factor.
Yeah, and I have, from having read so many cozy mysteries, I have like an expectation on how the cozies are supposed to go. Not necessarily how the characters are supposed to act or whatever, but there's like an algorithm of like when the murder is supposed to happen or something along that. But I was frustrated, just to say the least. I was frustrated about how far in, and like I was trying to figure out throughout the first half of the book, well, who's going to get murdered? These all seem like main characters that will stick throughout the series. And so I was confused.
I was replying to the comments like, yes, girl power for the women. Those comments are making me so happy, yes. Nicole and stuff. I love it. So sweet. No, I think, you know, again, if I had just picked this up as a women's, you know, again, I hate that terminology, women's fiction. There's no men's fictions. I don't like that double standard. Just caveat, side note, tangent. You know, if this were categorized as a women's fiction chick lit, totally different. But I think the fact that, you know, you're picking it up for a cozy mystery and there's no mystery, I mean, what do you do with that?
Well, and then like a lot of it seemed to me like part of the whole her royal spyness is that she's spying on the queen's son's fling who is married to someone else. But to me,
talk about that for a second. My absolute favorite part of this entire book is when she tells the other guy that she's a spy. She tells him she's spying. I mean, James Bond's not walking up to, you know, the person he's trying to get info from saying, hey, I'm a spy. I'm trying to use you for intel. I mean, she walked up and she actually said, oh, I'm a spy.
Yeah. Well, and she was very, very well written in her naivete as a 21-year-old who has never been on her own and everything like that. But I feel like, I don't know. I feel like the whole spy plot was just so she could have her royal spyness in the title. Like, I feel like she wasn't really spying on the woman that she's supposed to be spying on for the queen. Like, there was only like 2 scenes where she met the woman. Like, once whenever she was dressing in the dressing room, and then the other time when she went to the house. And I was just like, you know, like, if it's her royal spyness, then this needs to be more about a spy plot. Just like Miriam said, she goes, yes, I must admit that the spy plot was totally not convincing. The title is very misleading. And it's super, super misleading. I was like, come on. Like, I was ready for like oh, what is that? There is a 1930s, well, it's set in the 1930s. It's a Netflix show, Mrs. Fisher's Mysteries or something like that. That show is freaking awesome. And I think that it does the 1930s cozy mystery, murder, and mayhem kind of thing really freaking well. Like, that's what I was expecting going into her royal spyness, was like a second part to like Mrs. Fisher's mystery series.
I mean, this is a traditionally published cozy mystery as well. I think it was Penguin. I'm pretty sure it was Penguin. I could be wrong off the top of my head, but it's traditionally published. So, I mean, and it also was nominated, I think, for one of the major awards as well. So there was quite a few people who really enjoyed this book. When I was on Goodreads, there were quite a few 5-star ratings. I just think it depends on like what you're looking for, so to speak, from your cozy mystery experience. Because again, I didn't mind this book. Again, I didn't think it was terrible. I'm not rooting against it, but because I was waiting for the murder to happen, I was getting a little annoyed, going, okay, every time I didn't come across the murder. And then at the 42, 43% mark, then I finally get my dead body, which sounds so creepy when you say it out loud.
I know, you're like, where's my dead body? Like Lisa said. And I'm like, I totally agree. Where is my dead body? Like, this is what we read it for.
But I mean, there were people who really enjoyed it. And so, I mean, I'm curious, you know, like Miriam, like, what was your favorite part of this book? Like, what was it? I mean, again, I love people that are like, yes, Miss Fisher. I mean, that was a really good reference. That made me very happy.
Yeah. I liked the fact that it was like historical and in Britain and different things like that, especially because like I could picture all of the things. A few years ago, I went to England, Ireland, and Scotland, and I spent 3 weeks in Europe. And so like I was able to visualize all the things that she was talking about when she started talking about like the Highlands and like just the way everything looked. I could really picture that. And I loved that. And I did, you know, giggle throughout like some of the things that she had to go through and different things like that. Like I really, really appreciated and liked that. I wish it would not have been sold to us as a cozy mystery when it wasn't.
I think that's really fair. I think it was probably more about her kind of coming of age story, so to speak. When she has to become the maid, that's a big part of the story, trying to figure out how does she get her income, how does she contribute, how does she manage to be 34th in line for the throne, and yet also try and do a job that people deem, you know, not necessarily respectable. And so there was a lot more to the story than the whodunit, which for cozy is the main part.
Yeah. Like I totally understand that most first cozy mysteries are all about building the world and building the characters and different things like that that are going to be throughout the series. Because that's where a lot of people get stumped, is during the very first cozy of the series. Is it's too weird world building. It's too much too many characters thrown at the same time. I felt like she did this really, really well. Sorry, my hair's being weird. I feel like she did this really, really well with all of the characters, like really building out those characters. But I felt like this was just like a contemporary series. Another thing that I don't know if it's just, you know, my generation or just like how I was raised, it kept annoying me when her best friend kept telling her that she needed to release the burden of her virginity. Like, I'm like, come on, that's not cool. One, you know, I had no problem with her best friend being all flirty and awesome and being like all her own self. Like she was her own person. I loved that. But I'm like, you don't need to push your views on how you do your stuff on someone else. That bothered me.
It bothered me as well. I'm not gonna. So I think I got more frustrated at the very, very end. Spoiler alert. So I believe it was Belinda, the woman who was trying to get her to engage, shall we go, let's be polite. And so she made a bet with the guy to say, oh, he can bed her within a week. And I was very, very upset by the fact her best friend made a bet about her and her losing her virginity to this guy randomly within the week. That really bothered me. And, you know, it's one thing if your friend's kind of kidding around with you or something, but again, there was a constant narration. So that was, you know, I don't want to say it was repetitive in the book, but it was kind of frustrating to me to have the friend have that be her constant go-to. I did not appreciate that. And then the friend making that bet, that was where I think the 0.5 came off.
That was crossing the line for me. When I realized that the only reason why he was talking to her at first was because she was like, oh, here, you need to lose your virginity. You need to lose your virginity. You need to, it's a burden. You know, you need to know what sex is like, yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, one, there's nothing wrong with enjoying sex and liking sex and things like that. But you don't push someone who has never had that experience to try and just give it away because it you know, it's a burden. It doesn't matter anymore. And she's like, no, I kind of want to marry for love and I kind of want to do this for love. And if that's someone's point of view and that's what they want, then that's what they should have. It's sort of like the whole bet made me feel like 10 Things I Hate About You, about how like that whole entire aspect. And I'm just going to say it pissed me off. I was not happy.
I also, so I just saw Nicole, I saw the comments coming in. So I also did not think this was appropriate for the 1930s because yes, people have been having premarital sex for quite a long time. But again, if you're a royal and you're trying to marry within a certain, you know, quote unquote pedigree, you know, sleeping around is not going to be indicative of your role as a royal. I mean, she is 34th in line. And so the way they were approaching the conversation had a more modern mentality than historical point of view. And so I did not think, again, I didn't like the bet. I didn't like these conversations to start with, but I also don't think it worked within that particular type of setting.
Like, I think that if it was the 1960s, like
Yeah.
the time of love and, you know, freedom, man, and like all of that, and I think I would have been a little bit more allowable for that. But for the 1930s, during the, you know, Great Depression, like all of this stuff that was going on, like that, I just didn't. It didn't jive with me very well at all.
Well, I mean, I didn't like the references prior to, but as soon as the bet was kind of made known, and that really bothered me. And again, this had nothing to do with the overall narrative. This, you know, was kind of in there as, you know, a secondary, you know, tertiary. It was just one of those things that was incorporated, but it really stayed with me.
Yeah.
That bet was just, you know, I didn't like how it was the friends. That just seemed to make it even worse to me. The fact that her
like her enemy, her school enemy, or like the girl that she didn't like from school. Like I could be like, oh, she's that kind of person. But I was like, Belinda's supposed to be her best friend, like her absolute best friend. Like she's the one that she slept on her couch. She brought her into like, hey, there's a guy murdered in my tub. Like, here's this, like, I'm depending on you. And then she turns around and does something like that. Like, that is not a best friend.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly. You took the words right out of my mouth with that. Because, you know, I'd like to think friends don't do that to each other.
Yeah.
She needs to rethink the friendships in her life if that's the type of friend she has.
Yeah, which, I mean, and she should have, I agree. Someone up above said that, like, Miriam said that she wished that she would have told her off, which I totally agree. She should have told Belinda off. She should have been like, listen, I'm not going to judge you for your lifestyle choices, but you don't need to be pushing. Because the thing is that it was brought up almost every conversation she had with Belinda. That was brought up. And that just, it pushed me more and more and more away from wanting to read and finish the book.
Well, we had this conversation last time too. Oh my gosh, why am I blanking on the last title we read? The women's group, the book club.
Mayhem at the Orient Express.
Thank you. For some reason, I was blanking, going, oh my gosh, I need a cup of coffee. I was blanking on the title. So we had this conversation before because we had a character who was a little bit more active, shall we go with, to be polite. And we were saying how, you know, cozy mysteries usually don't have a big emphasis on that type of, you know, dialogue narrative anyway. And the fact that this was constantly referenced, again, I think reiterated the fact that this was not your typical cozy mystery.
Yeah, I completely agree. Nathalie, I think that I'm saying that right. She says that she's sitting here grinning because her cozy mystery book doesn't even involve a murder, but a scandal instead as the mystery. And that's okay. Like, as long as the scandal or whatever has happened, it happens at the beginning of the book, where we can try and look for those red herrings, where we can try and figure out the whodunit, then that makes sense. But to me, 50% through the book, totally not okay.
I mean, again, I think one of the books we actually referenced during, I think it was the live stream I did with you during the Words on the Page build up when we were talking about writing cozy mysteries. There's the book, and the title is, you know, Building the Whodunit. That was one of the books, the titles for writing a cozy mystery. And if there's no whodunit, whether it's a scandal or trying to have a cover up or something, if you're not searching for the antagonist in your cozy mystery, there is a problem.
Yeah, then you're not writing cozy mystery. You're writing a contemporary. You're writing just fiction. You're writing something else, but you can't label it as a cozy mystery. I was like, that just bothered me. That was not cool.
Again, I printed out because I was going through, and for Goodreads, the people who rated it really highly, for their tags, they said mystery, crime, mystery. They did not say cozy, and a lot of them shelved it under different titles. So I think the people, again, how you approach this book, if you pick it up thinking cozy mystery, and then there's no whodunit, you're going to be just genuinely disappointed. But if you're not looking for that, I think you're going to come into this, probably a little bit more open and give it a little bit more reading. Because again, I actually really liked the writing style. She had humor. I thought the character was intriguing. Our main character, Georgie, I thought she was intriguing. I thought there was, some really kind of entertaining points in the narrative. So it's not a bad book. I don't want it to sound like we're just trashing it. I mean, or at least myself, because I know you said you gave it 2 stars. But for the writing, it's a good book. But it's hard when it's not exactly what you're looking for.
Yeah, and the reason why I rated it 2 stars is I said in my review, I expected this to be a cozy mystery because it was given as a cozy mystery. Like, I was even doing some research for my cozy mystery releases for August, and I was just looking at all different kinds of websites with all different kinds of cozies, and that series was listed on at least 3 or 4 of the different websites I was looking at as a cozy, and that's where it was misleading. And so if I had read it just as like a historical fiction chick lit kind of book, I probably would have given it like 3 stars, but I was rating it as what I would normally rate it with my cozy mystery scale. And I was like, nope, it didn't do well for me.
Oh, you must have, I know you. I know one of the things you're probably disappointed with was the puns or the lack thereof.
Yeah, puns got 0. There were no puns.
I was looking for puns. I mean, I usually get those with my baking cozies.
Yes.
I love it in the baking cozies, and they have little puns when it comes to whatever they're cooking. But I don't think that lent itself to the cozy mystery. Just I knew there were no puns, and I was going, oh, I need to know if she found any.
Nope, I didn't find any puns except for the title, which the title was misleading in the first place, so that didn't count for me. For those of you who don't know, on my channel, I have a video that tells you how I break down my ratings of my cozies. And so you can go over there and watch that video and see how I break them down. I also normally on my blog put like a little picture of my ratings of it so that you guys can see how it got broken down to a 2 point something stars. And that'll be up probably next week. My blog will, and the video will be up next week.
I know, everyone can go watch that. I'm going, go watch that. Mark, it is a TV. I know YouTube now lets you do your watch later list. Go, add that.
Thing. So what did you guys think of the murder itself? So the whole entire aspect of the Frenchman being killed in Georgie's bathroom. And what did you think about her brother being a total freaking wuss and leaving her with the whole entire murder and running back off to Scotland?
I was going to say, yeah, you didn't insert any commentary with that when he's a wuss, though you said that was funny. I'm really curious as well, because he didn't stay, he was not a part of this whodunit at all. And again, he wasn't able to that character didn't lend itself to, oh, I shouldn't be accused because of XYZ, or I'm going to point you in this direction. He was just absentee from the rest of the narrative for the most part.
Yeah, it was just like, oh, there's a dead guy in the tub. I'm going to let Georgie fix this. And then just freaking drops her and leaves. I do love that when she called him, she told him off. She was like, if you don't get your butt back here, I'm going to turn you into the police and say that you did it. I was like, thank you. There's that backbone I've been looking for.
Well, I think the comment up above, someone actually said the same thing about wanting her to tell off the friend, because she had her moments where she was able to defend herself. So,
yeah, there was little to no detail about the murder. The only things that sort of did you guys figure out the whodunit before they told you who murdered? Because I sort of did. I had it between 2 people. I had Tristram, is that his name? Tristram, and then Whiffy, or was it Wifey? Whiffy? I don't know how to say their weird nicknames, but I had it between those two people because whenever they came to the house while she was cleaning and like their little stupid French and mixture of English kind of thing, I knew that one of them had to have been the killer.
Their little mixture. I love the way you said that. That was great.
I took like 8 years of French, and I know Miriam speaks French fluently. How did you feel, Miriam, about the whole entire like French-ish aspect of it? Because it was interesting.
I mean, I have to admit, I think after a certain point when I realized it was not a traditional cozy mystery, I stopped reading it like that. Once we got the body in the bathtub, which again is an amazing quote. I love that quote as well. Once we had the body in the bathtub, I went, okay, I'm just going to read this as just, I don't know, I don't want to call it like a leisure read because that's not the right terminology. But I kind of had this moment of, okay, I'm just going to read this book. I'm not looking at it as a cozy mystery. So I wasn't really playing the whodunit game because I don't think the narrative was a whodunit. So I kind of gave up I was kind of along for the ride. And that's the best way of kind of phrasing it. I wasn't doing my usual, oh, let me look for clues because I didn't know because again, we didn't have a body. So up until that 42% mark, I was along for the ride. And so it was going to be more difficult to try and go back and look for clues, you know, in that exposition because you don't know what you're looking for because you don't know who's been murdered. And so from that point on, I was just going, okay, we'll see how this plays out. I mean, that was all I kind of did. I mean, I didn't even try and play the whodunit game.
See, and in my mind, I'm like, I have to play the whodunit game, especially now that I'm 50% into the book. Crap, did I miss anything in the first 50% of the book that I should have been paying attention while I was annoyed about the fact that there wasn't any murder? And so, like, little things popped out to me, and I did have this one on Kindle because I was reading it pretty late, and I didn't want to miss it. So I was like, okay, I'll do it. I'll get it on Kindle. And so there's a lot of parts that I highlighted that I was like, this is kind of weird. This person's shady AF. Like, what am I going to do?
I would love to see your little Kindle notes. Yes. I would love to see that.
So like, I'm totally like writing in little things and everything. And so I knew it was going to be Tristram by the time that the third time that he told her that she should marry him. I was like, huh. Because he mentioned it 3 times. Like, you can just marry me. And she's like, well, you're not going to be able to take care of yourself. And like the whole entire like stepdad issue with he kept expecting the stepdad to die and everything like that. I go, he's shady. Why does he keep trying to say that he wants to marry her when she has told him repeatedly that she's going to marry for love? And then I started thinking about like, well, who's in the will? And that's when I was like, yep, that dude's the murderer.
Talk about that for a second.
Yeah.
Here's my little qualm with this. So again, it's really hard when you're writing historicals for a modern readership that it's just something you're gonna have to deal with because you're gonna have to have the old school values and the new, you know, the modern mentality. Again, you know, I said it before, the balancing act is very, very difficult. And the man she was most attracted to was her cousin. That was the guy she originally wanted married first. And so she kept saying, oh, well, he'll step up to the plate eventually. And she had the biggest crush on her cousin. And she'd always say, my cousin, when she was referring to the guy she was truly attracted to. And so, again, I know historically that's how it was. You know, she even referenced, you know, inbreeding at one point. I mean, I know that's how it was, but it would still make my skin crawl every single time.
Yeah, I was like, okay, no, I didn't like that. It threw me off. And then, but when he finally was like, when she found out what the will was, that French guy got a third, and then she got a third, and then Tristram got the third, I was like, oh, so that's when I knew 100% that it was Tristram. I can't say his name, but it was
at one point I was thinking, oh, please let her fall for someone else who's not the cousin, just because modern readership.
I loved the Irish guy that she was.
Oh, Darcy?
Yeah. I liked him a lot. Like, even though he did the bet, like, I didn't like that part, but I liked his character, and like his personality is what got me. Like, I thought that he was really, really charming, and I liked the fact that like he was funny, and like he protected her, and like different things like that.
Well, I mean, if you guys know me, you know Mr. Darcy is he's my guy. Mr. Darcy is forever my eternal, literary husband. He's mine. I love him. And so anytime there's any character who's a guy named Darcy, I'm automatically just going to gravitate towards him. And if he was going to be the bad guy, I was going to be so upset just because his name was Darcy and he was going to be the bad guy.
Yeah.
You can't do that to a girl. When Mr. Darcy is her favorite, you just can't do that.
See, and I've never read that. I've never read any of those classics. Like, I can't force myself to read them. Like, I try really, really hard, and I admire you for reading them, and I admire anyone who has the patience to like read between the lines. It's like I'm like translating it in my head from the way they're speaking to like, okay, so what does that mean in current modern terms? And I was so like, I hate that, but I'm super excited to read, like, I think it's My Plain Jane. I'm excited to read that.
Because I saw your comment after someone had already responded, so I do have that right over there. But again, they do that twist where they try and make it more modern, so it's not necessarily just a true historical. What's the other one? My Plain Jane is one I just got, and then what was the original one?
My Lady Jane.
Like, I have that somewhere over here.
Yeah, I haven't read that one either, but I heard that it's okay to read them out of order. But yeah. I was all about Darcy being good and Tristan being bad, and I knew that he was gay too because of like how him and Whiffy or Wifey, it's Whiffy, like Whiffy. But then I'm like, it makes me think of if you've seen Bring It On, and she's like, Missy's the poo, so take a big whiff. That's what comes to my mind whenever I read Whiffy.
I can't find it. I reorganized their bookshelves, so they're now a rainbow bookshelf or bookshelves.
Yes, they look beautiful.
Thank you, but I can't find the first one, but this is the new one.
Yes, and I finally got my very first owl crate ever, and it was that one.
Well, this was a really good one to get. I mean, they had a lot of nice stuff in the mix. I have to admit, I love my owl crate, and so I posted a picture over my Instagram of this book when Max was cuddling next to it because I got back from RWA, and he was like, "What is she looking at? That is not me. I'm going to go defend this book for eternity now." So I had to take a picture and document it. But no, did you do an unboxing of it yet, or?
I did not do an unboxing. I didn't film an unboxing. I basically got it for myself for my birthday because I've always wanted to get one of those book boxes. And I was like, you know what? You're turning 28. Buy yourself. Treat yourself. And so I bought myself one.
Oh, no. I mean, I think I did not actually purchase this. I mean, I did not purchase this myself because I love the fact that, Owl Crate will do, their first runs, but it's signed. I don't know if you saw that yet, but it's a signed edition. And then they have their little extra goodies in there. So I'm trying to keep it with the book. I mean, if you're going to get a box, this is a really good one to get, a good month.
I was super excited. I thought that it was awesome. So I loved that. Now, I know that we got off on a total
tangent.
If you're new to our live streams, we tend to do that. But that's, yeah, I was confused about just that and everything, but I really, really like how the end was, how, they figured out the whodunit finally. And I loved that the uncle came out of his coma, and that she goes to go and stay with him, and someone who actually loved her like a real daughter and wanted her to be well taken care of. And like, that warmed my heart because I'm not joking, guys. I was going to rate this a 1 star. Like, I was not happy. Like, I don't know if it's because, we're all women here. I don't know if it's because I'm close to my time of the month and I'm just being bratty. Like, maybe I'm just like being a brat and I didn't like it, but like, I was not happy. And so I was like, all right, no, I don't like this book. It's a stupid book. But then at the end I was like, oh, like, she's going to go stay with him so she doesn't have to go and stay with that weird aunt that's old and be far away, and she doesn't have to marry that really weird, what was it, like, was it Greece, or was it the prince from, he was from somewhere, and he was a creep and couldn't stop talking about himself, and she was going to have to, the queen was trying to set them up. Like, it made my heart happy that she got to be with someone who loved her and would let her sort of grow as herself.
I got a dog over here who's growling at me because he thinks I want his bone. He's looking at me like, Mommy, I have my bone in front of the bookcase. I am good. I'm staying here now. So if you heard him growling, he's right there. I did not care for that guy. I mean, I think the end, I don't know if I'm going to read the next book. If I do, it won't be right away because my to be read list is ridiculously long. So I'm kind of curious if everyone else has already considered the second book, if they're going to read it. Are you going to read it? Well, because you liked the way it ended.
I did like the way it ended. And while I was on Amazon and I was buying next month's book, it kept suggesting the rest of the series to me. And I'm like part of me wants to be like, it's going to get better. It has to get better. But then the other part of me is like, I have so many books on my TBR list. Like, I just had an absolutely amazing subscriber send me 25 cozy mysteries. She mailed me a whole entire box. Like, this whole entire shelf right here are all the books that she sent me. And so I'm like, I have that whole entire shelf that I have to read. I've got like almost all of these that I have to read. I have other books that I will probably like fall in love with. And I don't want to sort of waste my time on a book where the first one I didn't really like it.
I think this book, the first, again, the whole cozy mystery, the whodunit at the 42% mark, it was a lot of exposition. And so, again, you have this kind of moment where, okay, we have a lot of exposition. Now I understand the characters, I understand the world. And so you're like, do I take this chance? Yeah. You feel like you are taking a chance if you do pick up the next book and you don't love it, because then it's truly on you.
Exactly. Like, it's sort of like, you were forewarned on how this world is. You were forewarned on how this character does and how this world is built. And I will say, if I give a book a 3 stars or more, I am most likely to pick up the next book in the series. But I rarely, and I mean rarely, give a book less than 3 stars. And this one, I can't do it. I have way too many unread cozies and unread other books on my other shelves that I want to get into. Like, I just made a booktubeathon TBR, and it'll be up on Friday, and there's 7 books in there that I'm going to read or going to try and read. And yeah, so I will not be reading it. But Miriam, if you do read it, let me know if it's better, because then I'll trust you.
Do we know how many books there currently?
I can look. I know that there's at least 5 that I'm aware of. But there's a lot, and a lot of people have liked them. But her first one was written in 2007. It looks like there's a lot, like 7 or 8, like a lot. She still has new ones coming out. Like, the last one that came out was On Her Majesty's Frightfully Secret Service, and that came out in August of 2017. So that was I believe, like the 10th book of the series. There are actually 11 books in the series. So the 11th book came out. Actually, it did come out on June 26th. So that was the 11th book.
Oh yeah, I was pulling it up on Twitter. So we were asking about next month's book. So Would you like to explain the $2.99 Amazon? Go get it now. But
so I'm super excited. The book that I really wanted to read for August got picked. It's the Murder in the Mystery Suite, and it is actually on Amazon on Kindle for $2.99 right now. And if you go over to our Twitter, I have already put the link on there for you and everything. And so it looks like it's going to be pretty awesome. I'm excited about it. It looks cool to me. I mean, yes, it's by Ellery Adams, and it's gonna be super awesome. I'm excited for it. I tried to do Angela's really cool thing that she's been doing on like her months to pick. I was like, what kind of book do you want to be reading? Do you want to be reading like a regular person, a magical person, a psychic person? And like I was like doing all these things to where it like narrowed down to like a regular bookish cozy mystery. And I was like, all right, I got you. And then I like searched for all of these bookish cozy mysteries and things like that. And then that's what I found. So yeah.
I love that. I saw you did that. I was voting right along with everybody. Yeah. I mean, for me, I think it's kind of nice because, this is a book club and I like people voting to contribute. And so it's not just us, picking books. I like that people vote. I like that people get to have a say. And so, it makes me happy. And I think it also takes the pressure off so that, if you don't particularly love a book, you're not going to be mad at us for recommending it either or choosing it.
It's like, you know what? This is equal ground. Most people voted for this, so if you're going to be salty, you got to be salty at the most people who voted. That kind of thing.
Oh no, I haven't read this one yet, so I'm excited to read it as well.
I haven't read it yet either, and so I literally just bought it today because I was searching on Amazon. I was like, okay, so how much is this going to cost? Do I want the physical copy or do I want the Kindle copy? And then whenever I saw that the Kindle copy was $2.99, I was like, bye. I was like, it is now waiting for me on my Kindle. So I'm super excited about that.
I know. I mean, I think all of the cozy mystery books that we've read this far, I've read as ebooks. So I think I guess this is my new method for cozies.
Yeah. And the thing is like, these two bookshelves behind me are literally stacked with cozy mysteries. And so I need to rein in my physical buying of them and just, go with my electronic buying kind of way, just for a little bit until I catch up on all of these unread ones, and then I can, do an unhaul or whatever and get some more room.
I mean, I think that's really amazing. I think I actually saw part of it. I think I was actually getting ready to board my plane when I wasn't able to watch the rest of the with the subscriber who sent you all the books. But that's so great that she sent you all those print copies. That's so sweet.
I was absolutely just mind blown. She just emailed me on my Courtagonist email, and she was like, "Hey, you live in Oklahoma?" I was like, "I do." She's like, "Well, so do I, and shipping won't cost me very much. I'm unhauling a whole bunch of cozies. I know that you like to read like the first 1 or 2 in the series. Do you want me to send you some?" And I was like, if you want to send me some, I would be totally okay with that. And then the box came, and it was literally like to the top full of all of the cozies. And she was just super, super sweet. I couldn't believe that.
That is amazing. I mean, that's just so great. I mean, that's one of those subscribers you're like, I'm so glad we met. I mean, you're so kind-hearted, and I'm so glad we were able to make this connection moments.
Yeah, it made my heart happy. She's also a teacher. And so that made me like, I had another level in order to like understand everything. It was pretty awesome.
Aw, new best friend.
Yeah, I was super excited. All right. Does anybody have anything else that they want to talk about? I know that, so my godson and my goddaughter are staying the night. They're having an overnight with me tonight. And I've never had an overnight with both of my godchildren. And so I'm like super, super like nervous, but excited. Like, I hope they have fun. One's 11 and one's 7. And so I'm like, do I have to kid-proof my house? Is it okay if they eat this? I'm not going to poison them, right? It's a thing, right?
I was gonna say, I'm sure they must love having all the animals around. I think that would probably be one of the highlights for them, being around your pets, because they're so cute.
Michael Scott loves Delilah, and so I'm pretty sure that he's going to be all over Delilah when he comes over.
His name is Michael Scott.
Yes, but it is not after the Office character.
Okay, that was my next question. I love how you preemptively knew where I was going with that.
Because every time I talk about Michael, like, they're like, Michael Scott from The Office? And I'm like, no. His grandpa and his uncle's name were Michael, and then they, in his dad's side of the family, they always have hyphenated names, and so like his dad's name is Stephen Scott, and so he's Michael Scott, and so that's how that came along.
I was gonna say, he's gonna get that question forever. Everyone's gonna want to know if he's named after Steve Carell.
Oh, yeah, it's hilarious. I can't wait. He'll be in 2nd grade this coming school year. I can't believe how big he is. I was there the moment he was born. Like, I was there when my best friend got the epidural. Like, I was in the room for like the 22 hours she was pregnant. Like, when she was in labor, I was there the whole time. So
you love this little guy.
Oh yeah, I love them. They are absolutely amazing. I got them Lucky Charms for breakfast in the morning, and I plan on taking them to the park, and I plan on taking them to the water park and like just hanging out and having fun and being the cool aunt that sugars them up and then sends them back home to my best friend, and then she can deal with it.
I love how you already plan the entire day. You're such a good godmother. You're so sweet.
I try. I'm super excited. It's going to be fun. I even like cleaned up the guest room where I normally take all of my Instagram pictures. And so normally there's like fake flowers all over the room and like stuff all over the floor. And I cleaned it up. You can actually see the floor.
So does this mean now we're going to get a new Instagram background when you go to reorganize and re-put this out?
Probably. Yeah. Everything's all organized and like nice and neat, and it's like inspiring me to do more things, and so it's like a win-win situation.
That's so cute. I love it. Aw.
Yeah.
You're so happy right now. I mean, again, you're very far away from I am, but you're radiating this like warmth and happiness.
I love kids, and I miss being around kids all the time, and so like I'm excited to steal my niece and nephew from my best friend for a night so that I can like soak up all of their awesomeness and then send them back home.
Oh, I mean, you're so energetic right now. And meanwhile, I'm just, trying to, I don't know, I need caffeine or something. I love it. You're making me, you're giving me your energy right now.
Yeah, all the energy.
I love it. I love it. That's so sweet.
Yeah.
So you get to talk about cozies, then you have your god kids coming over. Like, that's a really nice night right there.
That's what I think. I think it's going to be good to go. It's going to be a good end to my summer vacation.
I know, because you said you're going back to work pretty soon.
Yep, I go back to work on Monday. Technically, I went into work today, and I'm going into work on Friday for a little bit, and then I've been doing like workish things at home, but my contract officially starts on July 30th. I go back 2 weeks before teachers do.
Oh, I mean, it's nice that you're getting to do everything now, though.
Yes. I'm excited to get back to work and everything. I'm really bad at sitting still and doing like, not like I'm not doing anything. I'm just not doing a lot.
Hey, I mean, you have the vlogs, so I mean, you're busy.
Y'all were getting 3 videos a week this summer, but yeah.
I know. Did anyone have any other last-minute comments or questions about either the book or from the Twitter or anything else? I mean, is there anything else you guys wanted to ask us? Because I think we've talked about a lot of stuff when it comes to Highness.
And if anybody has not already subscribed to Angela's channel, go and subscribe to her right now. She's absolutely fantastic. I'm sending you guys to go and hit that sub button for her and all of that fun stuff.
You're very, very sweet. You're so cute. Oh, thank you. I know it's on my to-do list. I'm going to be filming some more videos the next couple of weeks. So I will hopefully have some more content very, very soon to be posting on a frequent basis. Every Friday I try and have a new video. And so I'm going to try and make sure that is a guarantee. You're very sweet for the shout out. I mean, I'm gonna give your Instagram a shout out. I know you just were talking about it before, but I mean, her Instagram is amazing. I love it.
I finally over 1,000 followers on my Instagram.
You do? Oh my God, when did this happen? Did I miss this?
It happened this week. I was so excited. So now I've got like almost 1,500 on my YouTube, a little over 1,000 on my Twitter, and then 1,000 on my Instagram. And those were my goals, like of all goals. Like I just wanted to reach like 1,000 on each of those. And then I was like, anything else is just extra.
It says you're at 1,008. So at, 1,008 people are following you. I mean, I'm very proud of you.
I've been trying to get better.
I mean, I love your feed. I mean, you always have the prettiest setup. I mean, it's so funny because I've been, for the longest time, I was just doing pictures of my dog and books. And then because I went to RWA, now it's like, look at me, look at me.
I loved all those pictures though. Like your making all excited, everything. So I was super, super pumped for you. That was awesome.
I mean, we'd had the conversation where you said, "Oh, I usually don't post pictures of myself," and meanwhile at RWA, I'm like, "Look, I just met Sarah McLean."
Oh, awesome. I just noticed that like a whole bunch of people were, I don't know. I don't think maybe they like my face on my channel, but I don't think they like my face on my Instagram. And so everything that I have on my Instagram is from like other than the book is all like dollar store stuff or dollar area stuff or whatever. Like I don't spend a lot of money on my Instagram game, if you will.
Oh, before I went to RWA, I kind of banged quite a few pictures. I kind of took, just a day and I was like, what books do I want to feature? What will look nice? So I just took a whole bunch of pictures for Instagram. There's something so much fun about placing your books just so and posing with them. So, I've been having a lot of fun with Instagram. So I'm really happy to see people are finding you and, acknowledging your awesomeness. I love it.
They feel happy. I'm like, yay. And like someone found my feed and they like shouted me out and I was like, thank you, you're the best. Like your stuff's pretty awesome too, Like I just love the whole community. It's amazing.
Oh no, I think you're finding, what's the phrase? You're finding your tribe. People who love books like you do. There's something really special about finding other readers who read your genres and like what you're posting. It just, makes you smile, makes your heart melt.
And I love meeting all of everybody. Like I've just had the absolute best time this past year, like starting my YouTube channel and starting all of this stuff and being creative and being able to use like my graphic designs that I've learned how to do and stuff. It's been an absolute blast. And so I love you all so much. You guys are my favorite people. And you guys make me all warm and fuzzy inside.
When I met Meg Cabot, I was posting about it on Twitter, people like commenting back and forth because other people loved her like I loved her. Like there's something so special when people love what love people you love your stories. Yes, loving BookTube. Like you're so sweet. I'm so happy you joined. I'm so happy, you're able to do this and have this club and everything. Making me I love this.
And now that we've gotten all mushy and stuff, if you guys, don't have anything else that that you guys want us to talk about or anything like that, I think I'm gonna make sure like everything's all nice and neat. Like I know that they're 10 or that they're 11 and 7, but like I still want everything to be nice and neat and pretty for them.
Aw, you're such a good godmother.
I want it to be fun. So yeah, let's. Do we want to say goodnight to everyone? I hope that you guys all go and get the if you want the Kindle version, it's $2.99, and make sure that you get ready for August. Remember that the next month's live stream will be on Angela's channel. It's always the last Wednesday of the month, and it's at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time or 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So yeah, it's been so good talking to everybody. I love all of your guys' faces. You're amazing.
Oh, you're so sweet. I know. So you really should subscribe to my channel so you don't miss it. Yeah, I mean, because next month it is on my channel, and you know, I get Courtney's joining me, and so I get to be honored by her presence over there. I mean, just, you know, you're so amazing, and it's so great that people, you know, it's so nice that people read cozies with us, and I'm excited to see what people think of next month's book.
Yes, I'm so excited that everybody's still pumped and that we're 8 months in now to this Booktube group, this cozy mystery group, and I'm super, super excited that it's still going strong, that no one's getting bored with it or like tired of it, and that the fact that, you know, it's okay if you take a month off because it's the first book of the series, and so it's okay if you take a month off. You're not missing out on anything because the next month is going to be the first book in another series. And so, yeah, I want to just say goodnight to everybody, and we will see you next month.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for joining us.
Bye, guys. Have a beautiful night.